I'm Bill Barnes, N3EJIX, and I'm here at the 2019 Dayton Hamvention in Xenia, Ohio, and I'm here with Gerald, K5 SDR with FlexRadio. Now, I'm a brand new Flex owner. I jumped in there as you ran a special at the end of March, and one of the things that you were featuring was this new software upgrade for Smart SDR, MultiFlex. Can you tell our folks that are listening here about how the great features are with the new MultiFlex?
Sure. First, you need to understand that all of our radios are software defined. That means that the software is the radio. Most of our engineering actually goes into the software and not in the hardware, because the radio is completely reconfigurable with new software. Just recently, we came out with our version 3, which has MultiFlex in it. That's what I want to talk about in a minute, but to understand that, you have to go back to version 2 when we added SmartLink, which is the capability to plug your radio into the internet, and it's simple plug-and-play remote. So I can remote my radio with a PC, with a Maestro, which is a portable display, as you can see here. I can remote with an iPad, an iPhone, or a Macintosh. They can be local or remote. I can even drive down the highway with my iPad and operate my station at home from that iPad. In fact, this radio right here is on K5 SDR Shack, which is in Austin, Texas. So those signals are actually on my antenna at home. My radio is a 6700 in a rack, and I can tune that radio, I can change bands, and operate my radio over the internet. MultiFlex takes that one step further, because the radio is actually a server. It's a Linux server inside the box, and that server is connected over an Ethernet port to my router at home. And with MultiFlex, I don't have a single user. I can actually have 2 users on one radio. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, the first time I ever turned MultiFlex on, I was at home and I had a large monitor like the one you see here, that size, and I brought up a station in Atlanta, Georgia on half the screen. The other half was my station that you see here. And I had both stations tuned to 20 meters, the same frequency. And I can listen in Atlanta and Austin simultaneously. And there were signals that were not audible at all in Atlanta that were audible on my station, and vice versa. And so that gives you the capability to have receiving stations in 2 locations. Second thing that I can do is that I can actually have a buddy. Like, there's a new ham that I've just gotten licensed. He's probably in his late 30s, early 40s, but he doesn't have a station. He doesn't have an antenna. He's just bought a handheld walkie-talkie, a FM, and nobody's on the repeaters. So he's saying, what do I do? Well, I can now log him into my radio. I can simultaneously be using the radio, listening and monitoring, and he can use it. And I can actually monitor if he's transmitting. So that's another capability with MultiFlex. 2 operators, 1 radio is what MultiFlex does for you. The next thing, that's a mentoring situation. If you think about it, you want to get more hams into the hobby, make it easier for them to get on the air. Well, he doesn't even need to have anything but his iPhone. With his iPhone or his iPad, he can just download the software off the Apple Store, give him a password, and he can be in my radio. As simple as that. No antennas, etc. So that's a great way to get people on. Also, you can take people that don't yet have their license and let them listen. Let them tune around on 20 meters and get a feel for it.
For the band.
Yeah. Another application of MultiFlex is in contesting. You can take a single radio that would normally be a single operator, and you can turn it into a multi-single, multi-one, multi-single, so that you can have a Maestro plus, say, one of the radios with the display built in. Now I have 2 operators, 1 radio, and we even have an amplifier called Power Genius that you can take a single radio, single amplifier. You can have 2 operators on 1 band or 2 bands. And they can be running a contest just as simple as that. In the past, that took 2 radios, 2 amplifiers, a whole bunch of cabling and interface junk that can go wrong to make all that work.
Bandpass filters.
Bandpass filters. Bandpass filters are all built into the radio, by the way. The 6600 has all those filters. So those are just some examples. And any one of the clients, the PC, Maestro, Mac, all of those clients can share the same radio. And you can intermix any number of those clients. That's a first ever kind of capability. No other radio has that capability of having multiple users on a single radio. The other thing I can do, let's say I have a Maestro, and back here you see a 6400 without the panel on it. You can get it either way. That way I could put two Maestros on that radio. I can put a Maestro plus a PC. I can have a Maestro, and then the PC can have a big screen, big screen monitor, so you can see high resolution. They can be on totally different bands, different receivers, different bands. So a lot of new capabilities that you can open up with both SmartLink and MultiFlex.
Thank you very much for the overview. I was very excited when you upgraded in the 2X series so that SmartLink actually included DACs, so I could sit at work and use FT8. And with the MultiFlex, you're slowly putting pieces together through your innovation here so that we're actually going to get to the point where you may actually have clubs stationing these things in RF quiet areas and having folks be able to remote into them to be able to use them. And that's especially handy in areas where there are HOA restrictions.
Yeah, that's a perfect example for clubs. We actually have stations that are starting to set up where you can rent time on radios. In fact, there's one in Maine that's been set up with our radios, and with multi-client, which is the MultiFlex. Currently you can do two, but there'll be a pro version that you can do more than two users. And so you can see how you can scale big antennas, big stations. Very, very straightforward. You mentioned another thing, HOAs. There's another thing about some hams that have been hams for their lifetime are aging and are moving into either assisted living or retirement communities where you can't put up an antenna. But they might have a relative or a friend who still has a radio. This gives them the capability of sharing that radio, and all they need is one of the clients.
They can just get even the Maestro.
Right.
They could even just get a Maestro and be all set up in wherever they have internet access at.
That's right. So it opens up possibilities that didn't exist before for people to not have to abandon their hobby of their lifetime, and they can keep all their friends and connections over radio, but not have to have the infrastructure where they are. They can use an iPad.
Okay, thank you very much. This is available for current Flex owners who are under current recent purchases. For those that have an older Flex radio, they can just buy it through the software.
Right.
And that's a pretty straightforward process, correct?
Yeah, the MultiFlex is in version 3 of Smart SDR. It works on all Flex 6000 series radios, which is the 6300, 6400, 6500, 6600, 6700. Works on all those radios. If you purchased a radio since October 1st of 2018, it already had that on it. If you purchase a refurbished radio from us, it has it included. Anyone before that can easily go to the internet, download the software, and it'll take you through the licensing process in that to upgrade it.
All right, thank you very much. And folks can find you online if they want to learn more about you at FlexRadio.com, correct?
That's right. FlexRadio.com is the place to go, and we'll be happy to help you.
Thank you very much.